Joining me in studio, we have an entrepreneur who's also a creative and an author. He'll be sharing with us his experiences and his knowledge. We welcome Adam Rabinowitz. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Please tell me, and in your capacity as an author, what is your book about?
Well, this book is called How to Create, Fix, Manage and Grow Your Small Business. So it's obviously aimed at entrepreneurs who are thinking about starting a small business. It's also for those who have a small business and need some help understanding how to manage it and run it properly. Then there's those who have a small business that's in crisis and they need to know how to fix the problems. So it's for those too. And it's also for people who have a fairly successful or established business that want to know how to expand or where to go to from here, how to grow their business properly.
And when businesses fail, what are the reasons for businesses failing?
Well, mostly businesses fail because they exceed the capacity of the person who started them. They outgrow the capability of the founder. What most people don't realize is that you really need to play three roles when you start a business. The founder or the entrepreneur, as well as the manager and the innovator, the creator. Most people spend time in one space, but not the other two. And so businesses really fail when the founder discovers that the business is now getting too busy, but they lack the management capabilities to run a business properly.
And what can a newcomer then do? Who wants to play all three roles? What can they do to avoid the failing?
Well, the simple answer is to recognize which is your natural behavior. So some people are technicians or people that have a technical skill, and they're very good at doing something, but they're not very good at running a business that does the thing that they're good at. So for example, if you're a great engineer or an accountant or even a writer, that's your technical skill. Be good at that, but learn management skills in order to know how to run the business that then produces that product. And that's where I find most people are lacking. When I do courses for senior managers in big companies, the same sort of discipline applies. A lot of people are promoted to managers because they're good at their technical work, but not necessarily because they're great managers. So the same thing happens in corporate and the same thing happens in the entrepreneurial world.
Sure.
People need to learn to manage.
And now we always like to give information about how not to fail, what to do to prevent failure. But failure happens. So what happens to an entrepreneur who has failed? What should they do now?
So I think the first thing that an entrepreneur should do when they encounter failure is to recognize that you're not alone. If you look at the statistics, 96% of all small businesses fail in the first 5 years. That means if you put 100 small businesses in a row, 4 of them will still be around in 5 years' time. 96% of them will have failed. So failure is not unusual. Failure is not abnormal, and failure certainly should not be reprimanded, or you shouldn't feel a sense of inadequacy. Recognize that it's not the person who failed, but the idea or the business. And then give yourself a day to cry, then get back on your feet. If you are experiencing failure, make the hard decision about whether or not you really should continue, or whether it's worth closing the door and exploring either a safer chapter, in other words, going to find employment, or investigating a new, more sustainable business venture. Sometimes the idea should never have worked. And so you take what could have been a great idea and you put it out in the marketplace, but nobody wants to buy it, simply because you might have thought it was great, but it doesn't work for anybody else. The other reason for failure is that you might have tried something but not managed it well, in which case your competitors just did a better job than you, and you simply got outdone. So you may need to go back to the drawing board and decide, is it worth refining or fixing that product and trying again? Or, is the competition too strong? Should we go and try something else? There are definitely tools and models that people can learn from textbooks, from business writers, that'll help you solidify that idea before you put it out there in the marketplace. And once you put it out there in the marketplace, you've usually spent lots of time and money. The idea is to do all of that research before you spend the time and the money, then put it out there.
Sure. And you mentioned managers just before. What do managers have to do? What is their key to success?
So a great manager understands what work needs to be done in order to maintain or to get that product consistently out into the hands of your customers. You're looking for three things: providing consistency, reliability, predictability. If you look at all the successful brands or the ones that you love dealing with, you're getting those three things from them. You know what you're getting, so that's predictable. You get the same thing every time, so it's consistent. And you know that the product is reliable, so if you need it and you want to get it at a certain time, you know you can rely on the promise that the company who's giving it to you is offering. And that's what you need to provide as a manager. That all boils down to understanding how the product works or how your manufacturing or delivery process works, and organizing the systems and the people that drive the creation or the delivery of that product to your customers.
Sure, thank you. And just to end off the session, we know that growth and success is very relative to context and different types of businesses. But in 2016, when a business says it's growing or it's successful, what do you think that means?
I think it depends very much on the definition of success to each individual founder or business owner. To me, success is having a business that supports and maintains my lifestyle. To the guy next door, it's having 4 Ferraris and having your R8 on order. So the most important question you have to ask yourself is, what does success mean to you? And are you happy with that? You can never measure your success against somebody else's. So if you want to be the next Bill Gates or the next Mark Zuckerberg, good luck to you, but it's a very ambitious yardstick for success. Success must mean what you want it to mean to you. And you shouldn't waver then or be embarrassed to say, this is what I consider successful. That's what I think our generation of 2016 should take to heart, because success, we have these unrealistic expectations of success simply because of these huge icons or these billionaires that have arisen overnight, and we want to be like them. Not everybody should adopt that. You need to look inside and understand your own soul to decide what your measure of success is.
Sure. And who's your entrepreneur role model then, just to link on to that previous question?
I like the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world. I love people who've come up with these incredibly successful ideas like Uber, like Take-A-Lot, like Facebook. Ideas that really just hit the mark. Ideas that manage to find the right market, to hit the right note with the right market, and then really succeed because people talk about them and the idea itself is worth becoming successful. I don't like successes where people have had to hammer people to buy their idea, and 3 years later the idea is nowhere to be found.
Sure. Thank you so much. You've shared so much knowledge with us, and I'm sure any startup, any failed or failing business is definitely going to be able to get back on their feet just based on what you said.
Super.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Sure.
Well, that's all from me and from Adam right here on The Big Interview.